Hi guys, how you doing? Welcome to week 6. Okay, so week 5 was our second and final look at our course announcements. And this week, week 6, we're going to jump back into our second, we'll jump back into looking at grading and feedback. This will be our second look at grading and feedback and our final look at grading and feedback. So I've got a few things here regarding grading and feedback, just kind of like, the pertinent stuff here. Where does the rubber hit the road? Okay, we can talk about rubrics and faculty fundamental promises, and we can talk about that till the cows come home. And at the end of the day, we really want to know, how do I do it? What do I need to do? So I've provided here some things that are pretty good kind of foundational cornerstones of what's being asked, what you're being asked to do, specifically regarding grading and assignment feedback. So take a look at this. It's really probably nothing new. It's a review basically from week 3, but take a look at week 3 announcement and video, and then take a look at this, and then take a look down here and just see if this makes sense. So if those of you who are saying, wow, this just really keeps pointing back to that, to our IPR, our rubric, our instructional practices rubric, being personal presence, instructional presence, and intellectual presence. Well, those of you who are saying that, you are exactly correct, because it does all point right directly to that instructional practices rubric. Okay, now listen, guys, typically I leave that thing open when I'm doing my grading, my feedback, when I'm doing my announcements, when I'm doing my outreach. I keep it open on my desk, and I used to print it and have it on my studio wall right in front of me. So it's really a good idea to keep that thing open and refer to it continuously as you're working. Okay, week 5. Let's take a look at week 5 quiz, see how we did. Shall we? Let's jump to week 5's quiz. And where is week 5's quiz? Ooh, right here. Okay, so week 5 quiz. Okay, in order to exceed expectations for personal presence and grading feedback, instructors must draw connections between students' work. This is true, guys. This is true. And how do we do that? Simply, in your response or your announcements or whatever, if there's somebody who's, in your response, if there's a discussion board or grading feedback, if there's somebody who's not getting a particular objective, point them to a student who is and have them look at that work. So that's true. Okay, can instructors meet expectations for personal preference in grading without specifically identifying key areas for improvement? And of course, that's not true. We have to identify key areas for specific improvement individually per student in our grading and feedback in order to meet expectations. In order to meet expectations for intellectual presence, instructors must provide information and content that reinforces course concepts to encourage further discussion and critical thinking. Is that true or false? Read it carefully and closely, folks, because that is false. Intellectual presence, this is true for instructional presence, yes, but not intellectual presence, and we can clearly see that in our IPR. Okay, trick question, I know, you guys are like, thanks. All right, must instructors exceed expectations in all areas of an instructional practice rubric to show they are doing their job? Okay, again, must instructors exceed expectations in all areas of the IPR to show they are doing their job? That is not true, that is false. Meeting expectations means you're doing your job and you're doing just fine. Not meeting expectations is alarming, and exceeding expectations is fantastic but rare. And it will come. The day will come where we'll all start exceeding expectations, and it's just a matter of just keep on doing this over and over and over, and we will all get there. I promise. How long does faculty have to complete grading and feedback? 1 week. However, it is encouraged to grade early, especially in milestones and things that scaffold off other assignments. Okay, this week's quiz, true or false, according to well, I'm not going to read that. You guys can read this. This is this week's quiz. We'll talk about it next week. All right, guys. Any questions, comments, concerns, or any other, please get with me. But welcome to week 6, and I'll see you guys this week. Thanks.